Hello, we're almost to the end of the story. We're at day 9, and I've created a playlist, so I'm going to share the playlist and keep adding to it until the story's all shared. We're almost there, and then I can share just the text of all of it as well, though we definitely could use a little bit more polishing. Okay, day 9. System got to work Tuesday morning. She got her coffee and logged into her workstation one-handed, spilling a bit on herself in the process. She looked at the words on their memo without moving her mouse towards it. When would the feedback come? And should she ask for it or hope Charles had forgotten what he wanted to say? He was old after all. As she took calls, she slowed down more, carefully reading the notes on file. She didn't stop controlling the call, just gave more space for the other party to speak. When she'd added notes to her template as she worked, she didn't return to shorthand, making her notes clearer for any outside observer. The longer form notes were easier to transfer to the case, no real time loss. A caller made her laugh, and this surprised her. She felt self-conscious initially and glanced around the room. No one seemed to be disturbed. She let it go. She was partway through one call when she realized one small error she had made. She had stated delivery as 7 to 10 business days. It was now 5 to 7. She had forgotten. For the client, it would make no significant difference, but it was still an error. She went to their memo and typed, "Charles, I realize the mistake I made. I misquoted delivery timelines yesterday. Is that what you noticed?" She couldn't wait. She had to take the next call. Thankfully, it was simple and brief. Her eyes went right to Charles's response. "You found one error. There were others, but they taught you more than they cost. That is a good ratio." She frowned and looked at the words with her head tilted. How many other errors had she made? She recalled one case she had worked the day before and felt a sudden burst of panic. Had she remembered to read the new verbal agreement to her client? She quickly went back to that case and looked. With a sigh of relief, she realized that she had read the correct contract and had noted it correctly on the record. She took another call, and this one took more time and focus. Her client wasn't as patient as the others had been. They wanted quick answers, but none of their questions made that possible. She suggested they call back when they had more time, but they brushed off the suggestion. She tried to answer their questions as concisely as she could with the information she had, and she promised to follow up when she learned more. She advised on timelines, but not before double-checking that she was giving accurate information. The caller wasn't happy, but he didn't escalate. From past notes, this was a good sign. She glanced at the clock. Barely 10 minutes had passed. With a groan, she went live, but the phone didn't ring. She double-checked that she had changed her status correctly. She had. System turned her chair fully around. No one else was sitting idly. Phones were ringing, just not hers. She changed her status to something random and back to ready just to see if it would fix the problem. No call came through. She hesitated, and the mouse paused over the memo. This was the kind of thing she should discuss with IT. Asking for help here was appropriate, necessary even. With no further hesitation, she typed, "Charles, can you see why I'm not getting any calls? Did I end up in the wrong queue again?" There was a pause, and the words appeared in their memo, landing one by one like drops of rain, steady and fast. "You are in the correct queue. There's a temporary routing delay on the back end. Should resolve shortly." She took a sip of her coffee. A new urgent email had arrived. It was a policy update, and she reviewed it carefully. The phone startled her. She answered on the second ring and felt a mix of joy and concern when the call was all about the policy she had just reviewed. She resisted just answering. Yes, the information was fresh in her mind, but the clients wanted the representative to think a bit. She inserted a very brief, unnecessary delay and then responded. The caller didn't say, "Are you sure? Can you check with the supervisor?" They would have if she'd answered too fast. She was partway through creating a policy cheat sheet for her desktop when another call came in. She went through the greeting preamble as she completed the task. The next caller was understandably frustrated with their situation. That much was clear from the start. She was not, however, upset with System. Not yet. This was her third call for the same issue. It was a complex problem with many moving parts, all of which were being worked on. The work, unfortunately, was taking some time. The caller kept checking in, hoping for updates. Maybe she wanted to speed the process along. System listened, acknowledged feelings, and then slowed down to explain. It wasn't new information, but it was spoken with calm confidence. The caller seemed to understand at first, but when the topic shifted to the main grievance, which was still under review, her voice turned icy. "Under review. Is that what you call it?" System paused, focused on lowering her voice slowly, letting go of any tension in her vocal cords. Yes. She didn't say more, holding her breath. Fine. They pushed out the words, resignation clear in their tone. How much longer will it be? System repeated the timelines. The caller swore under her breath. You need to hire more staff. Tell your manager that. I will pass on your feedback, System replied, knowing they didn't believe her, and that she had no intention of passing on the feedback. The company knew public opinion. They did not need reminders. The feedback would serve no purpose. The day stretched on, but as the workday came to a close, it felt like it had gone by fast. It was a strange thing to experience, she noted, forgetting her memo was shared now. What has happened to time? Then she sent a few emails requesting information she would need the next day for her open cases. Her outbox lit up. She checked it. One of her emails wasn't going through. She sighed, then recreated the email and sent it. Again, it ended up in the outbox. A line appeared in the memo. Would you like me to push it through? She nodded, realized he couldn't see her nod, remembered he could see her nod, and then froze. She typed, yes, please. Her outbox cleared and a new message window opened. She messaged Charles, did you do that? The response she got was interesting. Partially. I updated your email settings. It was running on an old version that was no longer supported. The current version opens new windows automatically when you're drafting multiple emails. She frowned. It didn't sound right, but he knew better than she did. She moved on to her next call. In the last half hour of her shift, In the last half hour of her shift, System found herself stuck on a case. The answer was not clear. She read the guide carefully, noting the two places where her issue was referenced. These contradicted each other and referenced systems they hadn't used during the entire time she had worked at the company. She reached out to her manager, who replied, that manual needs to be updated. The System opened a new desktop memo, noting not only the sections of the policy that were contradictory and outdated, but also other sections she had encountered in the past that were just as useless. In these cases, she'd found her own solution, so she hadn't bothered to request an update. She asked her manager via chat, who do I reach out to about the guide, and what do I do with this case? Her manager replied, someone is in the system working on it. Let them work. We can follow up on this and your case tomorrow. System frowned and replied, it's being dealt with right now? Her manager responded, yeah, IT is in there. Charles must be bored. Not really his job to do this, but if he wants to spend his time updating the guide, I won't stop him. It's overdue. I have a few suggestions for him too. Don't worry about it. System, don't take any more calls today. Do your follow-up and then have a good night. Okay, thanks. Good night. System typed, eyebrows furrowed. What was going on? She finished her follow-ups, then opened the guide. It was completely changed. Cleaner, cross-referenced, and readable in a way it never had been. How long had he been working on this? This was not the work of one day. She hesitated, unsure if she should say thank you or nothing. With a smile and nod to the camera, she got up and shut down her computer. No words were needed.